about privacy is that if you have somebody watching every single step you take, every single move you make, and every cent you spend, you're not.
Listeners, you're listening to Money and Me, and I'm your host, Abhiruk Bhattacharya. For today's session, we are going completely private. In our session today, we have somebody really interesting. He's from piratechain community, a community which is very famous for their anonymous private cryptocurrency token known as ARRR. So please welcome in our show, Captain Draeth. How are you doing, Captain?
Yeah, great, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been really looking forward to this session. You're a very tough guy to hold on to.
Yeah. It's just there's so much to do, so little time. So it's kind of hard getting stuff scheduled in.
Yeah, I can imagine. So to start things off, I had a look at your website, Biochange website, and it's really something. I mean, I really love the entire interface. Like, just to say, I'm a big fan of the way, how your teams are divided into captains and first mates. It's like, it's really immersive. So that brings me to my first question. What led you guys to name yourself as piratechain?
So that's a little bit of a question that needs to be expanded upon, because originally this project was born out of the Komodo ecosystem, right? So a bunch of the developers from Comodo, including JL777 himself, were wondering if a chain that was shielded only could actually work. So they messed around, and sure enough, they got it to work and everything was perfect. So they were curious as to what to name it, and one of the suggestions was pirate. So they all loved the idea, so then that's what they ran with.
So pirate because of, I don't know, because privacy, right? So you guys are going against the status quo. It's all about freedom, right? It's all about guaranteeing the privacy of your users. So is that something that you guys are going with?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we kind of say like we're the pirates of privacy, meaning that we're taking back our privacy. Because pirates were all about that stuff.
Right. So piratechain was created in 2018 with the vision of creating the most private and secure digital currency. So it's been almost 3 years since then. So what would you say? Like, do you think piratechain has achieved that vision it had set out to?
No, not yet. Reason being is because we want to make sure that all users are able to take back their privacy and make sure that they have financial freedom. So it's not only just spreading the word and things like that. It's creating products and services that allow users to be able to transact freely and privately without anybody watching every single step that they make. So for example, one of the products we released is the Pirate OS, right? So you're able to utilize your wallet in a secure and private environment. One of the other things we're aiming for is a point of sale system with the BPSAA, so that you can transact with pirate with any merchant. They can accept either pirate or whatever coin, and no matter what coin they accept, if I can still spend piratechain and keep myself private. So there's there's still a lot of work to go. You can't just celebrate early.
But here's my question to you. How seriously do you think consumers take privacy? Like, how seriously do they consider privacy?
No, they don't take it seriously enough. And that's by a long shot too, because you have the privacy enthusiast, which is a very, very small percentage of the population. Then you have people that care about privacy, but they don't take enough steps to really do anything about it, right? And then you have the vast majority of the population who just, it's not even a thought in their mind, wherein it really should be. And then you also have a small part of the population that are on the extreme end that say, well, if you want to be private, that means you want to do something nefarious, which is completely BS,
Totally. So my next question is this. So one of the biggest reasons behind people switching to cryptocurrencies is because how secure, private, and fast the entire process is. So I'm sitting on one corner of the world, you're sitting in another corner, and we can just directly do transactions. So that's why a lot of people move towards Bitcoin, because the entire vision was to shift from centralized banking institutions and adopt something decentralized. But so I had a look through your blog, and what you guys are saying is that even Bitcoin is not really private, that there are
No,
still a couple of loopholes in it. Yeah. So your cryptocurrency are right. So it's even more secure than Bitcoin, and it's connected to ZK Snarks technology, if I'm not wrong, right?
that's
ZK
correct.
Snarks.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to tell me a little more about it.
Yeah, sure. So the reason why it's more secure than Bitcoin is because, ours is a proof of work chain, right? And so is Bitcoin. However, we utilize delayed proof of work, which means that our chain is notarized onto Komodo's blockchain, which is then notarized onto Bitcoin's blockchain. So this way, it makes it virtually impossible to do 51% attacks and ruin the chain like that. So we're utilizing three chains total, the hash power of three chains to secure our network, which is, if you can get past Bitcoin, then oh man. Now as far as the anonymous portion of it with ZK Snarks, comparing it to something like say Monero, right? To put it into kind of layman's terms, Monero, they have an onset of like, what's it, 11 or 12, meaning that with the way that their privacy protocol is set up, it's like putting money under a cup and then having 11 other cups next to it and then just shuffling it around, pushing it to the other user. The user knows where it is, but to the outside, they're like, I have no idea where it is. But, you can take educated guesses, and chain analysis is going through that stuff. So, they're trying to break that down. However, with piratechain, it's like having $1 in my pocket and me looking at you and being like, all right, you can have it. And then it just appears in your pocket. Nobody else can see it. Nobody else knows the transaction happened between us. They just know that a transaction happened somewhere. No amounts, no addresses, nothing.
So that's pretty incredible. Like you said, yeah, from your pocket to mine, nobody knowing about it. But don't you think this kind of brings concerns for, let's say, governments who want to kind of keep tabs on people who might, illegally transfer money? So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, what's the difference between that and cash, right?
Right.
Because I mean,
Right.
cash, you could just hand it to somebody in a dark alley. Nobody knows who did it, right? But the vast majority of people that transact are not nefarious people. They don't do illegal things. It's just they
Right.
care about their privacy. So it's just, I mean, the U.S. dollar is the number one currency used for illicit activities. But you don't see anybody saying anything against the U.S. dollar, right?
Right. So you mentioned the Komodo project a while back, and I was hoping to ask you this. So it's clear that piratechain and Komodo are intricately linked together. So can you tell us about how these two entities work together?
Yeah, so like I said, Pirate was born out of the Komodo ecosystem, and then it just took on a life of its own. So, the crew brought on, several project managers and developers and things like that for Pirate. And over time, crew changed, crew joined, left, so forth. But we still have that connection with Komodo. So they help us out with, certain things, like, for example, pushing the atomic decks, getting us integrated into there, figuring out ways we can get integrated and things like that. And, cross promotion. And it also helps that both are part of the BPSAA, the Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance. So that's even more ways that we can integrate with each other and all the other projects in there.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned it because my next question is exactly on that. So
Nice.
you are one of the founders of BPSAA, right? So
Yep.
Blockchain Privacy, Security, and Adoption Alliance.
Yep.
So Piratechain and Komodo platform are both members of it, and a lot of other communities are joining in it as well. So can you tell us what this alliance is and what its significance is in 2021?
Yeah. So the alliance is basically a group of projects along with partners that care about privacy and security and adoption, right? So the biggest thing for us is creating products that integrate all of our members' technologies into a single product or service to be able to offer that to the public as something that's exceptionally designed to protect their privacy and security, as well as increase the adoption rate. And one of our main focuses is educating the public on why privacy and security are important, as well as how to enhance your privacy and security. So we do things like podcasts, like which we released our first one this week with a special guest, Ruben from Fiero. Um, we're doing eventually we're going to be doing seminars. We applied to be a 501c3 nonprofit, which means that as a nonprofit organization, we can accept donations and create events and things like that, and as well as create products and services for free for people that are open source to help them out with enhancing their privacy and security. So there's a lot of collaborations going on within it. And like I said previously, we're planning on developing a point of sale system that's seamless for adoption and enhancing user privacy and security when transacting. So there's a lot of things going on within the organization that are just fantastic, and a lot of awesome members like Ether1, Dragon Chain, Burst, Turtle Network, and BitTube, and so forth, and Ergo, so forth. So.
Right. So a lot of people in our audiences, I'm sure they would love to know more about this. So why don't you tell our audiences, why do you think privacy is so important at this age? What is it that people are missing out? What is the thing that they don't understand about privacy?
Sure. So the thing about privacy is that if you have somebody watching every single step you take, every single move you make, and every cent you spend, you're not free. You don't have that personal space where you're just separated from the public eye, right? And that's important because unless you have your personal space, you're not your true self, right? Because everyone puts on an image for the public and things like that, but when you're alone by yourself, that's when you're actually true to yourself. And on top of that, you have all these places that are just kind of like trying to basically data mine you to essentially sell you products or learn more about you and things like that. Prime example is, like an MVP card at a food store, right? So you use your MVP card, you get cheaper, you get discounts on food, right? Problem is that when you do that, they see everything that you've ever purchased. So then now they start doing targeted ads at you to be able to sell you more, right? And on top of that, Target has actually gotten so good at that with a reasonably high percentage, they can actually predict whether somebody is pregnant or not, right? And there's actually a story about that where this one girl was receiving, ads in the mail for baby products, and the father was confused, like, what's going on? And come to find out, he found out that she was pregnant because of those ads, and she didn't even know at the time either. It's crazy the amount of stuff that people can figure out about you just by looking at your spending habits alone, And when you're spending your money, you have the bank seeing everything that you do, you have everyone else seeing what you do, and it's not right. You should be able to transact with your money and not be restricted by how much you can spend. Like, for example, if you try to pull out $30,000 from your bank account, they're going to say, what are you using this for? It's none of your business, right? If I want to buy a car, they don't have to know I'm buying a car, So privacy is really, really important, especially in this day and age, because everything and everyone is trying to see everything that you do. And basically your personal life is getting smaller and smaller and smaller over time.
So privacy means a big deal to piratechain because the entire premise of piratechain is privacy. So my next question to you is this: regarding privacy, why do you think you guys, for example, are perhaps one of the few communities which are actively looking out for privacy, actively trying to educate people about privacy? Like, what is it about the general media that does not inform people about, the ways in which advertisements, targeted advertising, companies are looking out for details? Why do you think media has been ignoring this?
Well, it's because they've been running the narrative that if you got nothing to hide, you shouldn't have to have any sort of privacy, which is, the narrative that's been running a long time, and it's actually been effective, So it's like they associate privacy with being nefarious for some reason, which is absolutely insane, So we've been doing everything that we can to educate the public on like why privacy is important, why piratechain is amazing in that aspect, because our technology behind it, things that we're doing, and we're just a community of people. We're not paid employees at piratechain because piratechain is a community project. So we volunteer a lot of our time to just doing this because we're passionate about it. And I think that I think that's really apparent with all the members that join. They see that kind of passion.
Right. So talk to me about some of piratechain's ongoing projects. What is the biggest priority you guys have at the moment?
Currently, we are updating the code to allow exchanges to have an easier time to generate addresses and rescan and things like that. But as far as products go, we're working on a new version of the OS that'll include all the members of the BPSA's technology. So like Turtle Networks, DEX, you have Ether1 storage system, Sentinel delayed, decentralized VPN, all that fun stuff. So we're working on new OS. We have a messenger service that we'll eventually be creating. We're going to be working on the code to get integrated into the atomic swaps from Comodo. And there's tons and tons of projects I can just keep going with, but it's just we're not done. Just because like our price shot up, that doesn't mean anything. It just means that we're going to continue working hard like we always do and just keep producing like we usually do. So
right. Congrats, by the way, on the gain pricing. I recently found it out, and tremendous job, guys. I've been following piratechain for a while, but it's good to see that a lot of other people are following it as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's still a shock to me because after going through the bear market of 2018, 2019 and stuff, and even part of 2020, it's just weird seeing like I'm used to seeing the price at like 2 cents or 5 cents, and now it's what 13 or actually no, I think it's $16 now. So it's just it's mind blowing. But I'm just so happy because even one of the community members was like, I can't wait to see your face when you realize you've ended up tipping like millions of dollars because we're all generous tippers over there. But I'm like, honestly, that would make me really happy because that would change a lot of lives. That would just be amazing to see and to know that people's lives has changed just from donations and things like that or tips. That would make me really happy.
So it's been a couple of years since piratechain has been present in the ecosystem. So I want you to talk to me about, according to you, which are the biggest changes in the crypto industry at the moment?
As far as the industry is concerned, I feel like it's getting a little more regulated, which is not always a good thing. I see a lot of movement going from centralized exchanges to decentralized exchanges, which I think the trend is going to continue for years to come. I think eventually what will happen is you'll have institutional investors on centralized exchanges primarily, and then the average user will be on decentralized exchanges like, for example, Komodo's Atomic Swaps, Polarity's DEX, Turtle Networks DEX, and so forth.
Right. You're also the owner of a physical crypto coin store, right? The PCC,
yep.
If I'm not wrong?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
so can
correct.
you tell us a little bit about it? Well, what's it about?
So it originally started because when I first joined piratechain, I was a nobody in there, and I attended a weekly meeting, and I brought up the idea of having commemorative coins being made for the project because I thought that was a cool idea. So the captain of at that time, Fishy Guts, was like, "Dude, you should totally do it." So he kind of nudged me in the right direction, and I ended up just creating the first piratechain coin, and then from there. He was like, "You should offer this to Comodo and see if you can make one for them." And it just kind of started snowballing from there to the point where I think there's over like a dozen coins now that are available and still making more. So it's been a fun ride with that.
Yeah, it's really cool. I went through it, and it was something really mind blowing because I would love to collect it, put it up on my walls because it looks really amazing. So for somebody who wants to buy them, like how can they get it? How do you buy them?
Yeah, so you can go on the website physicalcryptocoins.com and then just go through the different coins, like what you want, and there's also the coin stands as well that you can get. And then once you go to checkout, you can either pay with PayPal or using cryptocurrency checkout. You can pay with Bitcoin, Litecoin, ARRR, Komodo, and so forth. So I have a lot of different options on there for people.
Right. So are you considering expanding it, maybe including more cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, when I have time. I was just so busy with everything else. Like it's hard to focus on the store itself by creating new coins, but whenever I get orders in, I ship them out as soon as I can and stuff. But eventually, when I have a little bit more time, I'm going to be starting to create more coins as well. So, but I think the next coin I'm going to create is a another silver edition of the piratechain coin. So the 0.999 silver.
Okay. Right. So here's a question that gets often asked. So if somebody wants to join the piratechain community, how do they join it? Like, how can they become a crewmate?
Yeah. So essentially, we get asked that quite a bit actually. And what ends up happening is we tell them, look, how would you like to contribute? Like, what are you able to do? Whether it be just tweeting about us, or whether it be helping out writing articles, or marketing, or even development, things like that. There's many ways, or even, or most importantly right now, helping provide support, because the more users you get in, the more support tickets there are. So we've been flooded with those, so that's another big priority for us. But either way, any way that they can contribute, they just let us know, hey, I'd like to do this, and then so we'll pull them in and start teaching them the ropes of, okay, this is how we do things here, and this and that, and then they start moving up the ladder. Once they've proven themselves for a little bit, they get boosted up to a deckhand, and then if you spend enough time like we do, eventually you get up to first mate and higher up. So
right. So is there like an email address, or is there like a web page where people can access and drop in their request to join your community?
Well, you can just straight up join our Telegram or Discord, and then you can speak to any of us on there. We're all on both of them, so you can just tag me, which I'm Draeth, or you can tag Dream Tim, Cax, Cosius, Wookie, any of us, and just send them a message saying, hey, I'd like to help out. How can I help out? And we'll be more than happy to direct you.
Right. Splendid. So my final question for the session today. So it's 2021 now. Yeah? So I'm going to ask you a question on 2025. That's around 4 years from now. So piratechain, the cryptocurrency ARRR, has already been doing so good. Yeah, you guys, the value has been rising up. You're getting a lot more support. A lot of people are coming to know about piratechain. So maybe 4 to 5 years ahead, where do you see piratechain?
I see piratechain as on equal footing or above Monero in terms of development wise. I feel like once we have even more recognition, we'll have more developers wanting to help develop the project and create products and services with us. I see as being, like everyone else in the BPSA, a prominent member that supports privacy and security, and vocalizes those rights, and helps change laws over time that are just unfair, or just privacy infringement on the people. So whether that be in the US or even other places we can expand to.
Right. Well, thank you, Captain Draeth. Thank you so much for coming to this session. It was a pleasure having this chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So everybody, this was Captain Draeth from the piratechain community in our show today. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. If you guys want to contribute to our growth, you guys want to check out a session, you can join our Telegram community. And stay tuned until our next session. Thank you very much.
Later.